Hello, 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 guys, and welcome back to Over Fully. So this is my channel, and now we are gonna continue that fantastic, beautiful game that is Dicentra. We started the game yesterday. I really love it. I love everything about it. And I hope that today I can read a little bit better than yesterday. Also, I fixed the audio again. So I'm going to try to hear about... we're going to stop the music a little second. You will hear double voice. We're going to stop the music a little second. Okay, I hear the voice pretty nice, but I don't know if eventually it's going to be distorted, because when I post TikToks and clips, I don't know why the audio is really, really bad. But in the live, it's absolutely okay. So I don't understand. I changed it a little bit, and we will see today. We will make some clip and see if I fix the problem. But without further ado, guys, it is time to play Dicentra. So sit on your sofa, take some water, and enjoy the streaming. There we go. Load. So today I have done a lot of different types of warm-up for my voice. It may be a little bit tired, just a little bit, not too much, but if you hear something strange, other than my brain buffering because of the English lecture, it is because of the warm-ups, okay? Let's go. I hear Dove dust off her hands and toss the whole bulb into a box, where it shattered amongst the other pieces of glass. She sighed weirdly. How long will this cycle continue for? I barely hear her words. Instead, I stare at the wall where the back door should be, and the door is no door. I immediately freak out. I run to the wall, ignoring the ache of my arm, and scratch at old wallpaper, hoping the door was only hidden behind it. My claws tear through wood, but I continue scratching. The outline of a door does not reveal itself. I back away, staring at the shredded decoration and breathing rapidly. It's not there anymore. I turn my head up and see Dove sitting on the kitchen table, swinging her legs. She stares at the wall, and I head torn up and give me a blank expression. I explode. My body ignites with fiery rage as I growl and gnaw at her. Bark, 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 bark! She frowns and her eyes turn downcast with guilt. I don't know how to get it back. I bark louder, attack her, force her to help. I give up. Just leave her. She doesn't know how to get back. She just doesn't know. I whimper and I go back to scratch the door more in desperation. I am sorry. Oh, enough. I'm tired of seeing you wallow in your despair. I reply with an indignant oath. I see Dove puff her cheeks in annoyance. I turn my head. Oh, she's so cute. I turn my head away and rest it on my paws. There is no way out. It's better for you to just accept it. A growl rumbles in my throat. Even the front door is gone. So instead of wasting time, you may as well follow me and keep yourself occupied. I wish I could try. I could cry. My ears lay flat against my skulls. I've landed myself right in the mouth of a carnivorous flower, with the sweetness of shelter to lure me in. I should have noticed the sharp feet at the entrance. I take a peek at Dove. She's like a caged bird in this house. Doesn't she hate it? How can any possible live like this? Anyone possible? Her patience reaches its end, and she slides off the kitchen table. I cry out when she hauls me off the ground, and I bare my fangs at her when her face appears right before mine. My glare doesn't faze her. Follow, wolf. There is no much to do. We return to the labyrinth of hallways. Dove seems to know her way around them well. Now that I'm not frantically running through them, I notice a huge difference in the manor's atmosphere. Less dirt coat the floor, ceilings light illuminate the hallways, and it almost feels peaceful. Doves stop close in the hallway. She grabs into the handles of the doors, and it opening up the reveals shelves and cupboards of miscellaneous tools and supplies. She climbs a stool to reach the highest shelf and retrieve a box with a small bucket and brushes. I tense up and I tense up at the side of the stool, beginning to sway back and forth. She climbs back down without issue before leading me into a room. I recognize it very quickly. She makes her way to the broken side table I'd spotted when I first exploring the room of the mansion, and I take the time to look around. A dining table with only three chairs take up most of the room. Candles spikes up from the top like a stalagmites. There are so many that I think they would render a fire hazard if they were to all be lit. Ardent wax drips over the edge. Yeah, I can see the end of a fountain pen, and as well as scrap of paper. I'm unable to see a well of ink from my position, but I assume that it is what runs down the dusty tablecloths in the dark, splotches, splosh. A gleam catches my attention. On the other side of the room, I am unsettled by the mirrors that cover the wall from floor to ceiling. I swallow a lump that forms in my throat and do not let my eyes linger on them. I lay on the floor and watch her lay the strongly scented glue on the broken leg of the table. She wrathfully connected broken leg to the rest of the table and fans it with her hands so it dries faster. She tests its sturdiness with a light finger. Okay? The scrunches her noise when it wobbles. She twists around and digs in her box, then pulls out a roll of twine with a bright expression of her face. My brown furrow together. Dove twirls the strings around her leg and binds it tightly. When she is done, she sets the table straight again. I still rock unsteadily, but it stays standing. That seems to be good enough for Dove, because she pick up her box again and give it a nod. Crash! I leap from my spot at the floor and spin to loud noise. In the corner of the room, the long-haired ghost from Early stands bent over a broken vase. Oh, hello? I flinch when Dove lets a startled noise and starts to stride towards it, a bark in alarm. It's dangerous! She ignores me. Ziri! I grab back of her gown with my feet to stop her. Dove's demeanor goes from angry to taken aback. She stops and looks down at me. I shock myself with my own action and quickly drop her skirt. Dove considers me for a moment, then switches her attention back to the ghost and marches over to him. You, klutz! My jaw drops. I don't need another person to clean up after. The ghost laces its long fingers together and bows its head. They look like they are servants to this little girl. She may be like a princess of darkness or something like that. Or they get like turned into monsters. When Dove gets closer to it, she stumbles in and cries out. The ghost snaps his head back to her. Dove checks the bottom of their foot and sees a shared embed in flesh. Red blooms from the small wound. The ghost makes a groaning sound and steps toward Dove. She hisses when it walks through the mess of the glass and drags it with them. It's concerned for her. I observe their interaction feeling befuddled. Everything I know about a corrupted ghost is being challenged. I pause to think about it, how the ghost rushed to her side earlier. The ghost thugs on Dove's sleeves like it's asking for forgiveness. She continued to badger him while digging the shard out of her foot. I studied them curiously. It wasn't because they wanted to cause her harm. I trailed behind I trail behind Dove when she leaves to treat the small cat and when she returns to clean up the mess. We leave the ghost and Dove continue down whatever to-do list she has in her mind. While she paints over the scratches on the kitchen door, trying to match the old wallpaper, she speaks to me. Have you met all of them already? She doesn't speak again until we run into another ghost. Oh yeah. It waits in the hallways for Dove. She perks up and she sees what he's holding. Oh, thank you, Babel. She takes a small bundle of red roses from it, freshly torn from its bush. Hello, Evan. What is this game? This game is called Dicentra, and it's an horror game. I follow her to a window and see a tall thin glass vase with withered roses and is sitting on the sill. Dove takes out the dead flower and replaces them. Then she pauses and looks down at something below. Her face reveals nothing and she tears her gaze away and makes her way down to the hole again. Have you played Blood Money? No, I can check if I like it or not. Before following her, I stand on my haunches and try to peer out the window. A chill comes down on me when I look down and see a small patches of grace, each marked by a small wooden cross. I break away from the unnerving sight and turn towards the hole where Dove has gone down. She stands at the end of the hall waiting for me. The bird-like ghost name is Grell, and the doll-like ghost's name Odette. Dove introducing them officially when we run into them as we go around the manor doing mundane tasks. It's a sight I can get used to. I can understand how a young girl can act so normally around such a monstrous I can't understand such a monstrous beings. Seeing their translucent, leathery skin or the fluids that drip from their decayed flesh is enough to send me reeling, but she doesn't flinch or fear. Earlier, when they had surrounded her in the kitchen, she could tell they were there, weaving their arms together to wrap in her ghostly embrace, and she didn't care in the slightest. I started to think that she's more disturbing than the ghost. To become this corrupted, they would have had to stay trapped in this plane for a long time. Why are they still there? Their horrific form bordered on pitiful. To be this far gone, it has to be some type of a hell. Dove walks among them like their family, though. No, that's not quite it. I rearrange my thought. Maybe the image of the Grace flashes in my mind. It is because she is theirs. Oh my god. I watch their guide Grell gangly limbs out of the hallway so they can pass through, like they're nothing but annoying sibling. A monster just like them. Maybe this cage she lives is of her own making. Dove does this errand like a routine, putting books away in the library and cleaning up candles burned to the end of their weeks. By the time she finished winding up a large grandfather's clock in the hallways, the manor feels like a completely different place. The air is less stifled but dust particles, the rooms are brighter, and it feels like a home now. As we walk back to Dove's room, the sun beginning descent into the blazing orange horizon, and evening cicadas make their shrill voices heard. Despite the manor feeling more livable, there is a feeling it gives me that I cannot shake, a void that looms like a presence. It is like a letter left unfinished, or tea left empty, and turning cold. There is this sense of stagnation that plays this manner outside of time, reaching it leaves a noise that buzzes persistently in the air. Doves stopped abruptly. Okay. And I almost trip over my poles, trying not to run into her. I take a peek from behind her and immediately let out a yelp. Oh, it's a beautiful lady. The very first ghost I had met stand at the end of the hallway. Doves doesn't move. I see the ghost stagger down the hall towards and I instinctively back away. Oh, then Dove speaks. It's okay. Her tone is not very convincing. The ghost gets closer and I can see the detail of her licking entrail. I make a whimpering sound and hide behind Dove, keeping myself close to the wall. She's harmless. She doesn't do anything. I throw a quick glance at Dove when her voice falters. But watch. The ghost is right beside us. Its hollow eyes look down at Dove, and she holds its unseeing gaze with cold eyes. I don't breathe. But the acrid smell of rot overwhelmed by heightened sense of smell. The tension between Dove and the ghost create a pressure that thins in the air, making my lungs ache for oxygen. Pain sides my chest, just when I can no longer hold my breath in. The ghost continued down the hallway passively. I exhale loudly. I startle when Dove clenched her fist beside me. Her eyes followed the ghost for a couple of seconds longer. Then she cut off her stare and moved on. I quickly chase after her, not wanting to be alone with this particular ghost again, ever again, if my luck allows it. I look back for a split second and the ghost has disappeared. Dove's shoulders are squared as we return to her room. Since the sun has set in the opposite direction of her window, the scattering colors from this morning is long gone. Her relationship with the hallway ghost is much different from the others. The way she spoke about her almost seems resentful. I pay the concern, stalling for a moment when I see the color from early on the floor. I narrow my eyes at it and pick it up with my teeth. Then I throw it at the far wall. I give the color on the last glare, then curl up on the floor. Dove settles cross-legged in the middle of her book, in the book tower, and reaches for a random text. I let out a big yawn, feeling heavy after the events of the day. I don't know if there is enough time in the world to process everything that happened to me since I left home. I close my eyes and feel the tendril of sleep curl around me. Do you think people can come back from the dead? She asked it so quietly. I almost don't hear her. I don't think she expects an answer, and I cannot give her one. Dove's roses. Ooh. I once at the bites. The roses are extra hungry today. After not feeding them for a while, the petals have bleached to a stark white. I watch as my blood saturated the colorless flower, then narrow my eyes when I spot the parasitic fungi at the base of the brush. Part of the bush is already starting to wither because of it. I reach down and tear it out harshly. Dirt sprays my gown and I crush the fungi in my first. I think it's fungi. Hello, Eva. Why you writing on YouTube and then you're kick? Just come on kick. I know more will sprout in its place, but seeing such a blight that is close to the red rose bush makes a bolt anger rise in me. Just seeing it make me want to destroy it. I walk to a different section of the greenhouse and throw it right next to the corpse and funging last victim. My heart clenches at the sight. Its eyes are still open. I press my finger down on the lids of the dead wolf, but it is too late. The terror on his face is already cemented in time. My finger curl and my nails stab into my palm, making the bites stings. I return to the rose bush and continue feeding them. Thunder and lightning trash above me. Will it rule in another pitiful soul tonight? I hear a door slam and I flinch, crushing a bulb in my hand. My ear listening intently, searching for the lingering traces of his presence. When I find none, I take a deep breath and finally let myself relax. I tear the bulb from its stem, and my hands fall to my side. The sound of the rain is so clear now that I close my eyes to let it wash out everything else. I relish in its violence against the roof of the greenhouse and tremble under the crisp craps of thunder. To pass the time, now that it is mine again, I whisper something my mother taught me under my breath. Then I hear a whimper come from behind me. Ooh, sun. Death returns. I look up from my view of worn book spines and see Dove. That is behind me right now. Actually, it is better for me if I put myself on the other side. Yeah, let me put myself here. Like this. Okay. She sits in a creaky wooden chair with her knees down up beneath the chin. She brushes pale fingers across the rough paper of a large tome sitting open on the desk in front of her. The desk looks like it's made of a dark wood with deep grooves and jagged swirls that have been carved by something sharp. It sits tucked away in the back of a small library in the mansion. Large bookshelves loom around us like trees in a dark forest. The narrow arcade without a window above the desk and dripping candles are the only thing that light up this dark and decrepit space. I didn't know the mansion and such intimidating space like this until we had wandered in here earlier. Today's itinerary did not include any of Dove's peculiar chores. Instead, she spent the time wandering around the manor with a notebook and a stick of charcoal. I follow her as she roams aimlessly through the halls, weaving in and out of different rooms. As she continues wandering, body and mind seemingly detached, I carefully inspect every inch of the manor, desperate for a sign that proves this house can be cracked open, allowing me to finally return home. At some point, she stopped wandering to sit and curl up at the foot of a decorative stone bust. When I look past her darkly smudged hands, I catch a glimpse of page portraying the same bust over and over again. I don't think it is possible for her to draw that quickly in such a short amount of time. I wonder if she has her subject memorized by now, considering how familiar she is with it. Dove seems to draw too hard. Her sketchbook joined her throughout her tiny effort to kill time in this house that she cannot leave. I begin to think that the professional painting lining the hallway walls have some influence on this creative side of her. Perhaps she is inspired by someone close to her. Or maybe she is just intensely curious. I do wonder. What happened to her family for her to end up in such a bizarre state? My thought traced back to my arrival at the mansion. There is someone who has yet to reappear, and I strongly hope that I'm gone long before he makes his appearance again. Oh yeah, the guy with the mask and the hat. Dove surprises me when she walks into the new room during our walk. I cautiously follow her in, and the room reveals itself to be a library full of grit and darkness. I can see the dust particle floating silently in the small beam of light that filters into the room. It tickles my nose and makes me sneeze, throwing me forward into a roll until I land on my back with a view of the spider web-infested ceiling. Dove pays no attention to my fumble and carries her onto the back of the room until she reaches a stack of books. I shake my head to recover, ears flopping against my skulls, and follow her to the rest of the way in. As I delve further into the room, I quietly observe the floor-to-ceiling row of a bookshelf. All of them seems to vary in width and are arranged in a pattern that seems maze-like. Books stand in tall piles and scattered around the floor like they've been thrown around carelessly. My ear gives a small twitch and the sound of one eating on the floor, and I turn my gaze to Dove. She silently slips into the chair with a book in hand. I see her focusing intensively on the reading after settling into the desk, and I slump to the floor. Today's humidity has swallowed me like a blanket. I can't push off. It is so thick that I feel like I keep walking into a wall of heat. Dove doesn't seem as bothered by it, but she's not one covered in fur. I start painting loud enough to draw Dove's attention away from her book. She glances over and wrinkles her brows at me. "What's wrong with you?" I tilt my head in confusion. Her eyes rake over my inquinsively, then they brighten. She hops out of the chair, and I start to stand so I can follow her. But she's already speeding out of the room. "Stay here." My ears flatten anxiously, but I slide back down to the floor. It's too hot to move anyways, I guess. Dove soon returns carrying something in her hands, and I go on the edge. "Please don't have rob me again." My body tenses when she sets a bowl in front of me, then I immediately relax again. "Oh, water." I give Dove a quick side-eye. Her attention is already settling back into their book. After drinking a bellyful of water, I plop down on my side, feeling much more refreshed. I blink barely after a noise disturbs my brief midday nap. Did Dove just say something? I flinch and tilt my gaze up after Dove slammed the cover of the book shut. She lets out a large sigh and throws her arm straight out over the desk, with her head bowed between them. She then turns to head towards me. "Have you ever seen a witch?" My ears perk up. Why did she ask that? Dove is clearly not a witch herself, as far as I've been able to tell, at least. I can imagine what kind of a witch would want to spend their time meticulously drawing the same thing over and over. And Dove feels within my reach. No witch can make me feel that way. However, the possibility for her to have any relation to a witch is increasingly tangible. Only magic can explain the thing this mansion is brimming with. I can find comfort in a place like this, but avoiding a run in which a witch has been blessing considering the obvious traces of him. If only I could ask Dove for answer. The more I learn about this place, the more questions I have. It's so frustrating not being able to speak. I startle for the sign of a book dropping right in front of me. The book Dove has been lifting through now sits before me, open to a random section. I can't help but let my gaze flicker down to it. "Can you read?" My eyes widens as I take in the contents of the page before me. Strange symbols and cursive writing fill everything into the old parchment. You can't read, don't you? I stand a draw closer to see better. Curious things are in you. I look up and see Dove facing me in her chair, observing me with her head resting on her palm. I freeze under a stare. My eyes dart to the book again. You know that has a 100% mortality rate with cats. What? I tip my nose at her, up at her. You think I'm not a cat? Dove's narrow hair eyes, the corner of her lips twitches. She's unraveled her curly limbs and stands from her seat. From there she drags her bare feet across the floor until she reaches the open book, kneeling down and flattening her palms over its pages. Well, I suppose there is more to the cat story than people think. I can only catch a quick glimpse of the right circle carved into the hard leather of the cover before Dove grabs it and flips it close. Ooh. She then opens it again to the first few pages with indelicate hands. I read the words at the top of the page. Death returns. Dove traces her finger over the words, satisfaction bringing back. It feels my tail wagging at the base of my spine as I look back up to Dove. Would you like to learn about magic? It's not just something anyone can do. My yellow eyes meet her blue ones. Magic. Nothing has ever haunted me more. And now, like a candle has been lit at the bottom of the abyss, I can finally search for what I always yearned. I shake my head. I nod. The moment I give my answer, something about Dove changes. Like a hot embers flaunted in the wind, her pale eyes glow in the dim light. I feel my heart thumping in my chest. Oh, look at her! She's super happy! Okay, we're gonna learn magic, apparently. Her mouth stretches wide. I can see the points of her canines, and her gums are black. Oh, gums. Oh, I see. Dove rarely smile, even more so with it. I hold back a shudder. This time I know for sure that my heart does not race in fear. Dove looks directly into my inhuman eyes. A malevolent grin creeps across her face. Oh my god! In that moment, I knew she could see her fiery eyes reflected in mine. My eyes walk across the first page, my chest blooming with excitement. A book about magic. I never been able to read one before. You never be able to read anything. You're a wolf. Then were all removed before I could get the chance. Everything you could ever want to know about magic is written in this book. It's the witch Bible, after all. My mouth goes dry. For a moment, I imagine myself elsewhere. I'm back with my grandmother sitting on the carpet by the fireplace and having my burning question dismissed once again. So, if you have a fireplace, you're like a domestic wolf and you have like an owner. Your birth brought your freedom, Basil. One day you will understand that. I can only smoother my disappointment with a short reply. No matter how many times I ask for an explanation, she would always deflect or ignore my prodding. So I stopped asking and started searching for my own answer. I see nothing special about myself, but I could be. I slowly look up Dove. She stares deeply into my eyes before looking back down into the open book. Then she starts reading. There is much to know before one uses magic, and it all begins with death. Fantastic. I take a deep breath and my ears stand up attentively. From the moment of birth, sentient bodies accumulate toxins, energies, and resources. Upon that, this body begins to rot and break down, returning these compounds to the environment. It's hard to believe, but in the state of decomposition, new life is abundant in the absence of an old one. I immediately deflate. What? My silence must have been deafening, because Doves snap her head back into my reaction. In spite of my ability to truly be expressive with my canine features, I must have created quite the emotional response, because Doves turned completely flustered. A deep scarlet burns in her cheeks. Its heat crawling up for her forehead, she awkwardly looks down and stares, fidgeting with her fingers. I'm receiving so many messages. Who is it? Oh, come on. Wait. Her brows quickly pinch together. I start to think that she might actually be embarrassed. My jaws drop slightly in disbelief. You? I watch her swallow a lump in her throat. I realize that was probably difficult to understand. I forget to breathe when Dove looked at me once again, with her fingers tightly intertwined and round eyes. You're really listening? Doves look at me in complete astonishment, and I am at a complete loss in how to react. Dove runs an hand through her messy hair and recollects herself. She returned to the book in front of her, starting from the beginning again. There is a certain type of energy that is created in the process of decay. That energy is magic itself, existing in the plane between life and death. This plane is also known as the ether. No living being can ever see it. It's an inevitable occurrence that is guaranteed in the circle of life. It's cruel but necessary, because of when that blooms, new life persists. Now tilts her head and flips through the page of the book. Of course, I'm only summarizing the complexities. It's not as simple in practice, because magic is not something that can be contained by any laws we observe in nature, at least the ones we know. In fact, magic is no different than a species you're probably familiar with, mushrooms. I cock my head in confusion and look at Dove, expecting her to elaborate on her explanation. She leans over the witch Bible, balancing on the arm and holding up her pointer finger. Let me explain. Mushrooms are the only thing in nature that do not follow a logic system. Normally, creatures with bright colors always serve a warning sight to stay away. Through evolution, both flora and fauna have developed characteristics that allow them to survive long enough to pass down that trait. But with mushrooms, none of that applies. Bright or dull, big or clustered, you can tell if a mushroom will kill you based on the looks alone. You can tell if a mushroom will kill you based on the looks alone. The only way to find out is to eat it. I gulp. Dove makes mushroom sounds like old gods. But back to the topic hand. Dove flips a new page, and I pause at the sight of a scratchy doodle that makes the words on the page illegible. Definitely Dove's handiwork. Magic can be unpredictable and unstable. By this logic, areas with little depth of the little magic. Likewise, place with an abundance of that, all than an abundance of magic. Hey Toffee, welcome back. Place like cemeteries. I nod in understanding as Dove continues. It is the reason ghosts love to linger around these so much. Dove crosses her leg and rests her head in her palm. She hasn't been turning the page of the book, but yet she explained everything in perfect detail. Just how many times has she read this book? I've been told that witches become empowered by corpses buried deep beneath their feet, and with that power comes tragic silence. Dove expressions become solemn. But in that silence, there is also an earnest level of respect from those who have passed away. Why the book is glowing? She pauses for a moment, then starts turning the page again. When she finds the page, she wants the corners of her lips perk up. Or a satisfactory feast. My ear twitches. However, there are two exceptions to this. In space void of that, magic is completely unusable. Most of witches usually avoid them like a blog. How it is going? Oh, pretty cool. I'm practicing my English as usual. And my chat is actually, is up to me. And I cannot turn here. Give me a second. No, actually I cannot turn the chat down. You will have your chat appear in front of my front. It's okay. When the shimmer of magic runs through your veins as naturally as breathing, begin to feel like a gravity, as amplified tenfold. It may be a closet thing to feeling human for a witch. On the contrary, a space plug with too much that become dangerous for everything in it. Without caution, the magic can overflow and seep through the cracks between planes, corrupting everything it touches. And this is where the witches come in. Dove turns to a new page. The spread before me makes a furrow along my spine stand up. Oh, succubus. I am greeted with an illustration of demons holding what appear to be babies. Are they human, or perhaps they are... Something in my brain clicks. I know this part. The concept of witchling receiving the devil's blessing at birth to become full-fledged witch. So you are devil born, but you are a wolf, apparently. My grandmother know how to obtain this blessing, but refused to tell me no matter how much I asked it. It is a miracle I even know this much from what the leader she told me. So your grandmother, that is actually your owner, is a witch, I suppose. Dove pauses to stare at the illustration. I nod my nose in her direction as an encouragement to continue. Every witch begins with the devil's blessing. Once they receive the blessing, they are bound to hell. Dove gets lost in thought for a moment and combs her fingers through her hair. Did you know what witches have 3 commandments? I blink. Of course, it's 3. 1. No God before the devil. 2. To shall honor the devil gives. And 3. Magic shall never be used without the devil's permission. So it is like the God rules, but for the devil. The same thing, and they just have 3. Dove frowns as she stated the last commandment. She didn't mention how witches receive the blessing. I whine in disappointment. Dove seems to be completely misunderstand my reaction. Are you scared? Don't worry, demons won't be making deals with a little puppy like you. I snort in annoyance. The relationship between demons and witches is symbiotic, because witches can access the ether. They can utilize magic. The more magic they use, the more power is imbued in hell. The demons who reside in hell can extract that power and use it to create the chaos they love so much. I let out an involuntary shiver. I can't help the anxiety that rises from the knowledge of using magic to provide enrichment for me that love nothing more than a trouble. Apparently, it's the devil who rules over God. No, it is most something like, they have like rules with God, do not say the name of God in vain, yada yada yada. It is the same thing, but for the devil. You have to respect every will of the devil. You receive this blessing, And if the devil say you do not do this, you don't have to do it. Otherwise, I don't know, you're gonna burn in hell forever or something like that. However, witches don't just exist for demons to live vicariously through them. They have the responsibility of keeping magic level in balance. That's so boring to talk about, though. The most important thing in this book are these. Doves show a page filled with magic circles. Using magic is a little different from fairy tales. You can just conjure something from nothing with a switch of your hand, not without a couple of steps, at least. Magic is... It's far more similar to... Dove taps her index finger on her chin. Oh, it's like baking. Look at her. She's so cute. I feel my brows pinch in confusion. Magic's like making a cake? Well, you see, baking requires perfect measurements. Dove flips through the witch Bible until she lands on her desired page. She then lifts the books and presents it to me. Strange symbols greet my eyes. Each one of these symbols represents elements. These are your ingredients. She turns to a new page filled with various illustrations of a circle. In order to use magic, you need to gather the right elements and place them within a circle that looks just like this one. One of these, I suppose, like this. Every space within the circle is like a number. This is why magic is like baking. The ingredients and measurement must be exact. A single miscalculation could be a different between enchanting a rose and killing it. Okay. Very, very specific. One more thing. For every spell in these books, there is a secret ingredient. Doves slide a page between her middle ring finger until the paper meets the webbed skin of her hand. Without even flinching, she pulls her hand across the paper. I immediately cringe away, like I could feel the stinging sensation of paper slicing into the sensitive skin firsthand. Doves hold their hand and up and pinches the flesh around the paper cut, pushing out bits of scarlet. She sets the witch Bible flat on the floor again and hovers her hand over the drawing of a circle. More blood runs from the cut and forms a crimson droplet that hangs from the tip of her finger. Oh, she's putting... Oh, so you have the circle, you have to put a secret ingredient. And the secret ingredient, apparently, is blood. It feels like minutes to go before the droplet finally falls from her hands, staining the paper below. Oh, beautiful. The sound of blood dripping into the page echoes in my ears like a ticking clock. I focus on the way the blood splatters on impact right in the middle of the circle, then runs down the curves that paper until it's fully soaked into the parchment. A blood sacrifice indeed, for every spell, apparently. If you've made your spell correctly, all you need is a little witch blood. It has to be a witch blood, not just blood, okay? To make it transform before your very eyes into art. Doves curl her hand into fist. Witchling may not have a demon blessing, but we are surely not human. We come from fire and brimstone after all. Oh, you mean demons? Okay. Magic belongs in our veins. Just because we are not connected to the ether does not that means that it isn't there just waiting for our call. So you're telling me that she's not a witch, neither human, she's a demon. She's a demon, but she does have a witch Bible, and witches are humans with the devil blessing. Dove leans over the bloody drawings with hunger in her eyes. Her hair falls like a curtain of bramble around the witch Bible. She sight to make me think of putrid veins that spread from the infection. One day we won't need anyone's blessing to take what is ours. I tense up. She notices my stiffness and gives me a small smile. Are you intimidated by magic now? Don't worry. There's no need to go through something as advanced as creating your own spells. That is what the Witch Bible is for. It contains all the spells you could ever need. Dove strays off. It looks like she has more to say, but she hesitates to express her thought. Is she demon but with human blood? No, I think that. I mean, she told us that there is a secret ingredient that is required for the spells, but she didn't told us there is human blood. She told that there is actually witch blood. So, but when she said the spell, she talked about something that is demonish, not the witchling, because she told that we will need whatever we need without the blessing. So I don't know if she's a demon, or if she's a witch, or if she's like both of them. I don't know, can be. She's a child, so she were born from someone, I suppose, and I'm not sure at the moment. I rest my head on my paws, and silence stretches. Dove's expressions soar before speaking again. I want more, though. My head lifts. These spells aren't enough for me. But the narrow of her eyes at the Witch Bible and smoothed the parchment with her hands before crumpling into her first fist. I blink in surprise. Witches are brave enough to walk the earth, a host of parasitic demons in hell. And yet, Dove looks down at her open palm, her gaze lingering on her wound, blood now clotted. She starts raising her voice and flinches in response. And yet they bind themselves to so many rules. Okay, so perhaps since she is frustrated by the rules that comes from devil, okay, she may be a witch, because otherwise she doesn't have reason to be angry, because just a witch need the devil blessing. If you are a demon, it says the demons are there to balance the flow of magic, so they don't need the devil's permission to do magic. Witches have to. So she is a witch, and she is a human then, or mixed blood. And perhaps the thing about she being a demon before, it was just a spell a spell writing. Just her telling a spell, and the spell recitate, oh, we are this and we are that. But she's no demon, she's witch, she's frustrated because she has to follow the rules of the devil. They can use magic. They're the only ones that can use magic. All the possibility in the palm of their hands. But what's this? Dove throws the book open, showing the words carved on the inside of the back cover. Do not use magic on people. Do not waste magic with minuscule pursuits. Always keep magic level balanced, never to take too much. Her face contorts in a frustration with every line she read. She 100% want to bring back death, and I don't know why. Like dead people. Maybe she feel lonely or something like that. And she cannot do that because it will be unbalancing the magic. They smother themselves. They make themselves so small. They do not pursue progress. There is only tradition in this, and tradition that. It drives me mad. Dove suddenly grabs the Witch Bible and violently throws it. I jump out of the way it bashes into a wall. A flurry of paper erupts when it slams onto the desk beneath it. Dove stands huffing out sort of breath and cleaning her fist as pages flutter down around her like snowfall. The sight haunts me. It's like seeing a glimpse of Dove free from walls that contains her. Everything you want to know about magic is written in the Bible, but I want more. As I watched the paper flutter to the ground, I noticed something written on all of them. Alchemical composition sketches with impatient scroll litter every page I see. The symbols are circled, look nothing like what I had seen in which Bible. Dove mutters something herself. I'm not afraid like they are. The temperature around me drops. I almost expect my breath to cloud my face when I exhale. Just what is Dove trying to create? Dove drifts back to the desk, but she doesn't sit back. She just stands there instead, completely lost in thought. I look around the room, feeling awkward in the silence. Eager to not sit in for a second longer, I stand and get ready to wander off. I turn back and give Dove one last glance before trotting away. I wander around the library, observing the pile of dusty books on the floor and worn spines that crowd the shelves. One book in particular captured my attention. I take a nimble step closer to inspect a strange object hanging a book of a bottom shelf. It resembles a spider with a long and bony appendage that scratches around the cover. Something about it fills me with unease. I start to back away when out of nowhere I'm thrown onto the floor and air is knocked out of my lungs. I let out a yelp, quickly realized that it was a mistake. Something wrapped tightly around me, constricting my movement and making it too difficult to breathe. Is that a spider? The more I struggle, the tighter the grip becomes. My eyes begin to sting. As I catch a glance at the strange book I saw here, the cover is now bare. The spider-like object that had wrapped around its spine is now crushing me with its limbs. Indeed, it is a spider. Footsteps rapidly reach my ears, and I see Dove appearing around the corner of a bookshelf. I could see the look of surprise etched on her face, a strange reaction to see me get crushed to death. I thought he got rid of that. She finally showed panic when I let out a pained bark. Dove rushes over and drops to her knees. I can feel her bony hands trying to dig under the spider's legs, but it digs into my flesh in the process. She pulled her hands back and bites her lips. I then felt her grabbing me again and hauling me into the air. Just hold on, I can fix this. Her confidence is betrayed by her wavering voice. Is this it for me? Is this it for me? It's a miracle that I even made it this far, at least. My breathing quickens. No, I don't want to die like this. Oh, look, it changed. I thrust my body in Dove's arms, fighting back against the constricting creature. Can I see the creature? I can feel my vision turning fuzzy as Dove bursts into a room I'd never been in before. She slips on something that sounds like a pepper sending us both tumbling onto the floor. I let out a weak cry while Dove lands hard on her hands and knees. The spider continued tightening his grip. Dove wastes no time running over a shelf rifle through bottles and drawers and something. That's why I'm writing bad, because I'm tired. It is 1 hour of reading. Oh my god. We're gonna conclude pretty soon, guys. I cannot read in English more than 1 hour. Otherwise, I start to get like tired and I start to read really bad. Dove wasted no time running over to a shelf to rifle through bottles and drawers for something. When she finally finds what she's looking for, she quickly reads a tag attached to it and hurries back to me. I see her uncork a bottle with a swirling purple liquid before pouring its content into me. I feel a searing heat drip onto my skins as the spider scratches. I howl it in agony when some of the liquid drips onto me and Dobbs relieves a gasp. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get into. Oh, she's crying. I whimper to cope with the pain. The only relief I can feel is the loss of suffocating pressure around me. So she shoot the spider and she took me in the between, but I'm not dead, I'm just losing blood apparently. Doves moves away to retrieve a clot of clan-sieve dabs to the stray at the stray purple fluids had gotten onto my fur, making them sting even more. Oh, okay. When she leaves my sight again, I look to my side and see the spider-looking object curled into itself unmoving. So it is a spider looking, but it's an object. It's not like a real creature. Dove stops for a moment, stumbling in the process, and give it to attention as well. I'm not sure how I expected her to feel of an aggressive little creature that almost killed me. But the face she makes catches me off guard. She looks like she's mourning. Dove nudges the spider with her foot. I hold my breath in fear that it will spring back to life and make a secondary attempt to take my life. What a shame. My head perks up. That was my first successful spell. My blood runs cold. What does she mean? You've seen quite a few of my spells by now. Doves looks down at their hands and starts counting fingers. The rosebush, the viper cage, the book spine. The sound of something tapping against the glass makes me snap my head around. Up on the shelf I spot what seems to be a source of the noise. Crimson cloaked moth trash around in a jar. Dove also look up at them. Ah, those are mine as well. Cute, aren't they? I gave them the raw meat you didn't want to eat, so they're probably hungry again. She gives me a small smile and nausea ripple through me. These things are a success to her. She created these horrific creatures that shouldn't even be possible. Dove can't use magic, can she? No, I doubt it. I felt my mind racing. If she was not the one who created them, then who did? I hear Dove fuss around the room once again, and I take my surroundings. It appears to be some kind of a study or lab. Shelves and cabinet lines the wall filled with jars and bottles. The air is thick with a strong smell of herbs, fresh and stale all at once. It's almost overwhelming. When I look to the very back of the dark room, I let out a yelp. Light pours in front of a small window and disturbingly outlines an arrangement of skull around a dark frame. It looks like a mirror, but the surface of the glass is dull and doesn't reflect anything well. And with this, guys, we're gonna save, and I'm gonna take some rest. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do another live today. I don't know if I'm gonna play anything else or continue this game, but for the moment I just wanna take some little rest. So, as usual, guys, thank you for coming, thank you for keeping me company. I hope to see you again, and for the rest we see each other on the next stream. Have a good one, and good night.